Where does the stereotypical gay male manner of speech, like Carson from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, come from? Why do some gay men talk in a stereotypically gay fashion while others do not? Is it generational? Class-based? An indication of a certain sexual role?
Now, this question is a funny one to me because you might equally well ask, where does the straight male manner of speaking come from? To my ears, the way that dudes sort of talk with like a sort of really limited vocabulary and sort of circumscribed range of voice sounds very controlled and self-conscious and nervous to me.
You realize what would happen if I hand in my homework in your handwriting? I'll get kicked out of school. You wouldn't want that to happen, would you?
So when we're talking about like a gay manner of speech, I think it's also useful to look at the way that we all speak and how sort of culturally dependent that can be, and think about that as we listen to people around us.
That does make me feel good. So what did he want anyway?
So when you say stereotypical gay manner of speech, we want to be careful with that because obviously being gay is a sexual orientation and that cuts across all kinds of demographics from race to ethnicity to class. So not all gay men or women are going to have a stereotypical anything.
See, this is the color I want.
This is Damien. He's almost too gay to function.
Now, it's understandable that you would think there was a stereotypical gay manner of speaking based on the media in shows like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Jesus Christ, superstar!
Or Will and Grace.
I have met, are you ready for this, Mr. Right? Well, Mr. Right now anyway, but good night, folks, I'm here all week, Jack 2000!
Or Queer as Folk that you might have seen.
Fruity, refreshing, like a gentle breeze on a summer day.
There does tend to be a sort of specific way that gay white men in particular speak. It involves lisping, it involves pitch fluctuation, it involves maybe a certain kind of dialect. Perhaps we could define it all as sort of being a feminine way of speaking, right?
It's okay. My dad took my baby away after he found my TR collection in my hope chest.
So let's talk about lisping first. There's actually some empirical studies that have been done on this, and one from 2008 actually suggests that about 40% of men who self-identify as gay do have a lisp, and that is sort of defined by the tendency to pronounce S sounds as TH. And actually, in my case, I lisped when I was very young, and I went to speech therapy to correct it, and I think that's a common experience that a lot of gay men have gone through just anecdotally. So where does the lisp come from? It's really hard to say. Some hypotheses that scientists have put forward talk about it as a physiological difference, that gay people may in fact be born with sort of differently shaped heads or something like that that can contribute to having a lisp. That seems, based on the research I've read, less likely than having to do with copying the speech patterns of girls that they're hanging around with at school, because perhaps they relate to women better at a younger age.
She has a point.
It's going to be very hard to sort out in the end exactly where this thing is coming from, but it's probably a mix, and as with a lot of things, of nature and nurture.
Repeat after me. Yo. Yo. Hot damn. Hot damn. What a fabulous window treatment.
What a fabulous
That was a trick. Ah!
But the interesting part of your question had to do with what it means. You asked, does it indicate something about generation or class or even sexual role? And I'm here to tell you that it really doesn't mean anything in particular or signify anything in particular when you encounter the lisp in the wild.
Let me tell you something. This fruity little voice that you've put on
Excuse me?
is a new thing.
Fruity little voice?
In fact, there's a sort of funny truism in the gay community that the more butch a guy tries to present, in his manner of speech or his way of dressing or in how much he works out, the more feminine he's actually going to be. You'll see these sort of big burly bear types going around, and when you talk to them, they may be the most girly guys you ever met. And then again, you may meet a guy who lisps and seems very effeminate, who in fact is the butchest, most masculine guy you've ever slept with in your life.